Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Ohio Guys here. My name is Christian Ocampo, and today I'm joined by another voice actor here. We have good old Adin Rudd.
Hello. How's it going?
Good. It's great to finally have you here for an interview, get into some questions and all that fun jazz. So I'm excited that we can finally make this all happen.
Sounds good, man. Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
All right, man. So why don't you tell us, what is it like working in the industry today?
um, it's a lot of fun, honestly. I mean, it is like competitive and all of that, like everybody will tell you, but we just get to play around with like all of these like different properties and like it's just a blast. It's a great I love my line of work, so you will never hear me complaining, but yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Now, good to hear. Glad you can be part of these different titles and projects. So during your time in this industry, what is your favorite project you've worked on?
Ooh. um I would say, ooh, this is hard. I'm gonna say probably it's I'm gonna cop out and have it be a tie. But I think what I'm gonna say is on the one hand, I really loved Granblue versus as Beelzebub, because he's such a big character in terms of just like power level and just like his personality and all that kind of stuff. And he was really fun, and I really liked working in that universe. And the fan base for Granblue has been fantastic. The other one I would say is probably Transformers War for Cybertron as Scrapface, because that project was like such a like labor of love kind of thing. Like everybody on it was like super like psyched about what we were working on. The writing was fantastic. The directing was fantastic. It was just an all-star group working on that one. So those would probably be my picks.
Yeah, no, for sure. Those are some pretty good titles right there. Especially Grand Blue with how long it's been going for, how much fans love it. Same with Transformers, like still going on strong after all these years.
Oh, yeah.
Always adding newer actors into the mix. Aside from their veterans and guys like Peter, Colin, and all those guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely good place to be in. All right, and to kind of do a bit of a throwback to one of your earliest works in the industry, why don't you tell us what was it like working on Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic?
Oh man, that was actually my first professional role ever. So how I got that one was at Anime Expo years ago. They used to do these like open audition kind of things, and it was one of the first years that they were doing this. Sorry, there's like a helicopter hovering over my apartment right now for some reason. They found me. But so back on that, it was one of the first years they did these open auditions, and it was the first one that it was for a specific title, and it was for Magi. And I did it. I was called back within like a week, which apparently like times in which people have been called back from those has varied over the years. But I was called back like a week later. I had like a big general audition, and then they had me do Walla on Magi first, and then they gave me Enshin, the big giant monkey dude. And I remember, actually, it's really funny. So my first session for that, I got there really, really early because I was like really afraid of LA traffic. I wasn't driving really yet. I was getting a ride from somebody. So I got there like way too early, like an hour. And they were like, okay, well, you can hang in the green room for now. And I was like, yeah, sorry about that. I go in the green room, and the producer for the show is in there. And we start chatting for a bit. And she's like, do you want to sit in on the session that's going right now? And I go, sure. So we go into the booth, and Tony Oliver's directing it. And the actor that was reading at that time, it was Patrick Seitz for, I believe it was the giant elephant dude in that show. And I remember like watching him do his session and then going in to do mine. And like, sometimes you get dumb when you're in the beginning and you're just like constantly judging yourself. And I was just like, I did a good job, but I didn't do as well as Patrick. And now I'm like, well, yeah, he's been working in this industry forever. Of course he was going to do better. So yeah, I mean, it was a really fun experience. And yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, no, I love that show too. It's got amazing cast. I love it because it was, like I said, this is a time period with getting newer actors into the scene. It really had that mix of veteran actors, like Patrick Sides, been doing it for a long time. You had Tony Oliver on the helm, always been a great director for all these years. I love Magi, where it was more focused on that. I guess the story of Adin with Sinbad, all those Arabian tales, just mishmash together. Just the theme itself with that Arabian style that I had.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I really like the whole style of the world in that one and all that. Yeah, it's a really fun one.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad this was your first one. Just being part of Magi, it's just a little fun show to watch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, and to also reach back in time, because this one was a Kickstarter fundraising show that came out like around 2015, I believe. We're going to talk about Skip Beat. What was it like working on that project?
Well, that was fun because like it was just like small additional voices. I only had one session for that, but it was really funny how I'm not sure exactly if this is exactly how I got on the project, but I think it might have been related. But I remember it was like right after Anime Expo that year, and I'm pretty good friends with Christina V. And I was trying to hit her up during the con, just to be like, hey, do you want to like grab lunch or something? Blah, 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 blah. She was apparently super busy during the con, couldn't answer the text. It was like, she sends me a text and she's like, hey, so sorry I couldn't respond. They had us like rushing all over the place all weekend, so couldn't get lunch, but thanks for hitting me up. I'm like, cool. Next day, I'm out doing something and I get a text from her and she's like, are you free on Friday? And I'm thinking like, oh, she's trying to like make up to like for like lunch plans or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm free on Friday. And she goes, cool. Mella's going to contact you in a bit. And I'm like, who's Mella? And Mella Lee emails me about the info for Skip Beat. I'm like, oh, apparently I'm working on Friday. So, but we got to work with Taliesin Jaffe as the director on that show. That dude is so funny. I remember it was like, because like we did a lot of Walla and like incidentals and stuff. And one of the Walla things was it was me and like 3 other guys. And it was like in like a burger restaurant, like a diner or something. And we're just trying to make up things that everybody's talking about. And he goes, okay, you're the guys at that table over there. You have all signed up for an introduction to lasers class at your college, and all of you are disappointed that there are no actual lasers. Go. Yeah, that project was great to work on. I really like Skip Beat. It has a lot of I really like its sense of humor. It's a really good show. But yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah, no, I just can't believe it's really been almost more than 5 years since it was kickstarted, or was it? I can't remember which one was. I'm pretty sure it wasn't on Kickstarter, but Indiegogo, maybe been that one.
I think it was Kickstarter, but yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. So it's just great just seeing how at that time there was a fundraising to get a show dubbed into English, and this one, like you said, there was a fun little style ahead, big surprise, and I got myself the limited edition box set, which was really beautiful looking, and it's like, wow, like this is awesome just for Kickstarters. So no, I'm glad you got to be part of it, even though it's something small. It's just how much of the fans love the show, how much support they're willing to chip in to make sure that it got its English dub, it got its DVD release, its limited edition box set. Just so many perks to reward the fans for helping make this a a possible English dub. So yeah, just great names, great talent to be involved in this amazing show.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a really solid project.
All right. So here is one of my personal favorites that you get to be part of. And I'm going to tip my hat to Bill Butts for really driving home with this title. And this one is Kengan Ashura. What was I thinking of that show?
Oh, man. That one was fun. That one was interesting, too. Because I play Mokichi in Kengan, and he's only in like one episode, but like the episode's all about him. So it's like, but it's, I really liked Kengan because I don't have like many fun production stories with that one, but with that one, it's just, I really liked working on it because, Mokichi just has this like really like deep backstory, and like he has all these like really like heavy moments. It's like when you go into acting, you like go in expecting like these like big juicy actory moments where you can like go for that Oscar moment or whatever, but you actually don't get them very often. But that was one of the few where like I felt like I kind of like got to really like find where this character lived from an emotional place, and like really dig into there with like the whole abusive father thing, and like him taking care of his sister that he finds out about like years down the road. And yeah, I really loved working on that show, even if even if he dies in that same episode. Spoilers. Me and Griffin Puatu, because he voices the guy who kills my character. We have this odd. We would constantly like reference how my character's like fight move was. He would just like try to poke you with two fingers. So we just shout at each other. We just go like, Baritsu secret technique, two fingers, like all the time. It was just, it was fun. But I really like that show a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favorite. Like, I'm a sucker for these martial arts with these tournament arcs. I just love just this series, especially I think it was just created by the same studio that did Baki. Just seeing these burly, big muscle guys just being the bejesus of each other until like they're nothing but like puddle of mud and broken bones. So I just love it. I just can't get enough just seeing this. There's so much action, so much just hand-to-hand combat. So
definitely.
And rumor has it, supposedly the Netflix of Japan, they're doing some crossover between Baki and Kengan Ashura, sometime in the future. I know me and Bill are excited for this one, and some of the other cast members. I just hope to see more of this just brute strange, just pulverizing each other until there's nothing left but blood and broken bones. So,
yeah, I really love the animation on that show too. Like it has like this nice mix of like the 2D and the 3D animation that's like really fun to watch. Like, yeah,
the animation, I just love just the way it just visualizes just the fighting styles, the blood, the just the muscles. It just it's beautiful, even though you're watching just angry, tough dudes just being meatheads to each other.
Yeah, that's a way to put it.
So yeah, I'm hoping for season 2. I know they left off on the a bit of a cliffhanger because tournament's still going on. I like to see, who wins, who makes the finals of the tournament. So yeah, there's so many seasons that can be they be cranked out just on this aspect.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
All right, man. So going to the video game side stuff, you mentioned this one already. What was it like working on Granblue?
Granblue versus so that's an interesting one because that's probably the one that people know me for the most, because I voice Beelzebub, who's the main villain of the game, and he's such, because that's a game that I had worked on, because like I found out that I booked it in like June of 2019, I think, something like that. and I still get called for sessions for it, just like whenever like a new character gets added and stuff like that. Like I can't remember when the last session I worked on it was, but it was I think a few months ago, probably for some of the ones that are coming out right now. But yeah, a really fun project. I really love Bubs as a character because it was something that I kept getting told throughout the entire production of the whole thing that like really got me into his headspace. And it works for like a lot of like these like big type of villain kind of characters. Like if you were ever to play like the devil, or if you were ever to play like a Frieza or something like that, or like these kind of guys, the entire thing about them is that they are so powerful. Like it's like the whole, like they could like flick their finger and blow up a planet kind of thing, that they don't need to exert a ton of energy. So like Beelzebub, he only yells really on like his finishing moves and stuff like that. But like aside from that, he's very like, yes, come to me. Like that. He really like sits in like my chest kind of area, but like he's just like the bottom of my register, very breathy. Yes. But yeah. And you know, as I said earlier, the fan base for Granblue has been just wonderful. They've all been like super supportive. They've all like really loved the work that we put into the game. The game itself is great. Like I've never been that big of a fighting game aficionado, but I kind of like how Granblue is kind of like the middle ground between like there's Smash Bros, which is kind of easy to figure out for like a new player. And then there's like Mortal Kombat and like Street Fighter and stuff like that, where it's like all the combos and stuff like that. So it's like more for like the hardcore fighting game people. I kind of like that Granblue's kind of in the middle of those two. Like it's easier to understand, but it's also still has like some intricacies to it that are really fun. Me and Bill have actually played it on his stream a couple times. He usually kicks my butt because he's way better at fighting games than me. But but yeah. Granblue is probably gonna like hold a real soft spot for me for a very long time because it's like it was such a huge project for me, and I really love working on that show, or game. But yeah,
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And mostly it's thanks to good old Bill streaming. Like you've joined his stream as you streamed as well simultaneously. Mm-hmm. So I enjoy that you both have so much love, so much passion for the series. Both it's a video game form. We're just being the hell of each other with button mashing, and then the anime. I've only seen the second episode. I still gotta finish it up, but I just love how visually appealing it is, both in its video game form and its anime form, where it's got that crisp.
I really love the color palette of the whole thing. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, very like lots of blues and greens that are just like very like calming, but also like it knows when to be intense and stuff like that. I really love that.
Yeah, no, that's perfectly said. Like just the colors, how vibrant they are. It gives you more that clean look where, because it is like a pseudo medieval setting, but instead of making like dirty like other medieval games or shows, like it's clean where just the colors just like complement each other. So I really enjoyed that part as well, just in its visual form. So just everything about it is just great. Even the cast members are great. Just hearing the dub. I just love how you guys do the voices.
Oh yeah, I mean, also like one more thing, because so like one of the last like big gathering events I did before COVID started was the launch party for Granblue out here in LA, where like they had like this big old tournament and stuff like that, and they invited some of us to come down and like play the game against each other and like interact with the fans a bit and stuff like that. I think it was me, Patrick Seitz, Faye, and Christina. So 2 people that I've already mentioned, and 1 person who also was a callback from those open auditions that I was a callback from. So it's kind of like an interesting mishmash. But yeah, I was supposed to play a game against Faye on stream. And if you know anything about Faye, she's good at the fighting games. So I got one game. I got her one time, but she beat the crap out of me. But we played each other again in the green room backstage, and I actually beat her in a full match. Although I was not using Beelzebub, I was using Charlotta.
Hey,
yeah.
a win's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've seen that.
Mm-hmm. And then Faye taught my girlfriend how to play backstage as well.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, making the transition from Granblue, another game you got to work on, Shadowverse. What was that working on that one?
Shadowverse I've worked on several times because like they'll bring me in every now and then when they have a bunch of cards that they want me to do. Shadowverse, funny enough, was actually my first video game that I ever worked on. I worked on it, I think it was 2017 was the first time I worked on it. Since then I've voiced so many cards for Shadowverse. But I really love working on it because like we get like all of these like different types of characters that I get to try out. I get to throw out different voices and stuff. Like I mean like what's the dude? Marwyn, Omen of Repose, like he's very down here and very wise and things. And then there's like it was in one of the most recent sets, there was like a card named Stalwart Featherfolk where I just sort of talk like this. And then there was a cowboy cactus thing where I just sort of made him around here. And then it was like all that kind of stuff, you know. You get to go all over the place with Shadowverse and have all these different characters. Probably my favorite direction I've ever gotten in my life was, it freaking cracks me up still. It was for a card called Disciple of Destruction. And the way he's designed, he's like a hairdresser. And, you know, he sort of talks like this, like, you know, just sort of more like upper scale, a little more flamboyant, you know, kind of around here. And then when he gets pissed off, it's like, oh no, like something like that. But the direction they gave me for him was, it was one of the directors for the game. He calls it, he goes, okay, so make him gay, but not too gay. And don't worry, I'm gay. It still cracks me up. But yeah. So Shadowverse is like a nice little fun like mishmash of just a bunch of different characters and things. And yeah, I just really love working on that one whenever they call me in because I always get to try something new out, you know?
Yeah, no, that's always fun. Just having the opportunity to just dabble your hands in different voices, different ranges. So I'm pretty sure that has kind of helped you kind of get your skills more sharpened. Just getting told like, hey, don't play this type of character, and then you give them something completely new and different. Because those voices, well, I don't think anyone would guess that's you unless they saw your name in the credits.
Well, funny enough, I actually started off as an impressionist before I started acting. Like when I was in middle school, I could do all the homestarrunner.com voices. When I was in high school, I ran for student council, like with a George W. Bush impression and stuff like that. I did not win. My school was very conservative, so they didn't appreciate that. But it was fun.
I'm sorry, I'm just cracking up. Just
I could see.
Wow, no, that's great. Just fun those stories, just hearing that, it makes it all fun.
You know, he wanted to go nuclear on the student council issues and stuff like that. Hey, Cheney, go get me a taco.
That impression's not dated at all.
Oh no, you're fantastic. Your Bush impression is great.
Thanks. Thank you.
All right, and to shift gears again for another title you got worked on. Well, it's like working on Nancy Drew, Midnight, and Salem.
Nancy Drew, that was a fun one. that was interesting because the client flew in from Seattle, I think, because I think they usually just work up there, but I think they wanted to like try out some of the LA talent for that game, and it worked out pretty well. They were super super sweet to work with. Like everybody was like the nicest possible person you could imagine. Like they got me lunch. Like it is like one of the old, like very few times that's ever happened. I thought it was really cool. And yeah, I remember we did like a behind the scenes thing for that game too. Funny story actually about that game. So my cousin's wife is a huge Nancy Drew fan. Like she's played all of the games and stuff like that. And I remember, but they live up in Seattle, actually. So funny enough, they live where the game is made. But they came down for Christmas. I think this was in 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. They came down and she immediately beelines to me at the Christmas party and holds out her copy of the game with a Sharpie. And I was like, I'm not used to signing autographs at like a family get together, but okay. But yeah, it was, that title, it's just, that is such a long running series, not just the video games, but the books and everything. Like Nancy Drew, it feels like it has probably been going for like 100 years at this point. And just being able to like be a part of something that massive is really cool. Like, like these big legacy titles, like Transformers kind of felt that way too, like where you're just part of this like massive property. And yeah, it was just really cool. Yeah. And Damien's fun. So yeah, they had me do a bunch of like townsfolk and stuff too, and that was really cool. But yeah, I really enjoyed working on that one. Actually, it was the same studio that we did Granblue out of. Same casting director did Nancy Drew and Granblue. It was Samantha Morrison, previously Samantha Duncan. But yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Nancy Drew. I guess I didn't know there was a Ville game for the longest time. I forgot if I found like maybe like 2 years ago,
like
maybe
30 something. There's so many of them.
I only knew it from the books back in my day. Well, I feel old saying that. Back in my day, Nancy Drew was a book. Now it's a Ville game. That's what I feel. But yeah, it's great you got to be part of this series. I'm so surprised it still has so much of a fan base after all these years. So again, I thought like it would have died down by this day and age, but no, it keeps going strong, as you mentioned.
I just looked it up. The first Nancy Drew book came out in 1930. So it is 91 years old or something like that. Yeah. So
that is insane.
Nancy Drew is a 91-year-old property.
I will never guess.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, so glad you had that fun experience with a family member who really appreciated your work. So that's good fun little story to hear.
Oh yeah, I love working on that game. But yeah.
All right, and to touch upon another game that has really taken the fandom by storm, and this one came out of nowhere, big surprises. This one is Ganshin Impact. What was like working on that one?
Oh man, that actually wasn't that long ago that I worked on that. Like I know the character just came out like a week ago, but like I worked on him, I think in like the end of March, in like the mid-March. So like it was like a month before he even came out. So like that was a quick turnaround. But that one was Chris is a great director. He's awesome. He brought me on to do it. And it was really interesting because Kunjun, the character that I voice, he's very different from everything that I've ever done. Because like I'm used to like being like the villain, or like how Beelzebub is, or like how my character in Fallen Legion Revenants is, where they're just like these very seething down here kind of things. Or I'm like these like big bombastic heroes or player characters. Like the big player character one that most people would probably know as Monster Hunter, which is like my voice for that is very around here and sort of like this. But but and then like the character stuff, it's like I said with the Featherfolk dude earlier, I have a character in Warframe who's like, he has this very thick Russian accent and he screams all the time and stuff like that. But Kunjun's very different because like vocally he's not that far from where my regular voice is. He's kind of, it was interesting. Chris kind of helped me find my anime protagonist voice with this character because, you know, he's more like around here and like he's kind of nervous about things, but he's really passionate about things, you know, and like he just wants to talk about rocks, god damn it. And you know, it was really interesting, like getting to try that sort of thing out. And like it's like, you know, it's both a session that like I got to work on, I got paid for, but I feel like it also like added a new tool to my belt, which was really cool. And yeah, I really love how it came out. Me and Matt Greenbaum have been making jokes because I'm just like looking at him like, you bastard, you took him from me. Because he possesses Kunjun later on because he's the big dragon, Ashtaha. But yeah, and yeah, it's such a fun character. And that game, like, because I hadn't really tried it out yet until I booked the project, and so I played a bit of it. I haven't really gotten the chance to play too much of it because my schedule's been pretty busy lately, but that game is fantastic. Like when I heard like, oh, mobile game, gotcha game, I'm like, okay, it'll just be like all the rest of them. And then I start playing it and I was like, nobody told me this was Breath of the Wild. Like like nobody told me how intricate and like gorgeous the visuals were, and like, oh, it's such a strong game and I absolutely love it. Like I am amazed by how good that game is. Like it's so well done. But yeah, I loved working on it and I love seeing it, you know.
Yeah, no, this game really just, again, taking everything by storm. Like just so much Valve, the fans have given this game, all the actors, just how much it's really also kind of helped actors that get more of a bit of a spotlight, especially with Karina. I can't say the last name, but her being
it's,
the
Betger, yeah,
Betger.
Karina
Her
Betger. Yeah.
her being the mascot of the game, you know, has really just got people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
And you might remember this, like even to former President Barack Obama followed her on Twitter. So that was a great testament to her. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that one. It was yeah, they're kind of the perfect fit for that character. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, hopefully we'll get more games like these in the future, especially this being a Chinese made game, which I wouldn't have known until someone told me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's so good. It's so good.
all right. So now it's time for the funny question I like to ask everyone. If you could be any character you have played in real life, who would you be? And you can mix and match.
If I could be any of the characters that I have played in real life. That's hard. Because
Sure
like
is.
first impulse is like, oh, Beelzebub. He has all this power. He's like basically a god, but at the same time, it's like, but he's such a bad person. Like, I feel like spoilers. I feel like that would be like playing Omni-Man, being Omni-Man, like from Invincible. But yeah. Hawk is really fun too because he knows how to make weapons and stuff. Kunjun knows all about rocks. Okay. I'm gonna do the mix and match thing. I'm gonna say Bubs because of his, you know, physical attributes, but personality, I'm split between two because it would be either Kunjun or Scrapface. I'll go Scrapface from Transformers because he's a good dude. He's had some. No, I'm gonna go Kunjun. Never mind. Kunjun's. They both have kind of rough lives, but Kunjun at least seems a little more optimistic.
Yeah, he won't do anything bad if he's got those powers.
Yeah. Unless the dragon takes him over, then we're all screwed.
That too. That too.
Yeah.
All right. Now, is there anything else coming out that you can't talk about, or anything you want to plug in at this time?
Nothing that I can talk about right now. Although I will say there's a lot coming down the pipeline. Like I've got a lot. I've got some stuff coming down that I'm really excited to show you guys. That I've been really jazzed about, and I would love to talk about on this show, but I can't. Let's see, things that I would want to plug. Well, so back last year, one of my probably my biggest COVID project was I did an entire voiceover competition reality series on YouTube called Voice Wars. And we brought in a few of the voiceover industry's best to judge it. For example, let's see, we had Chris Tergliafera, we had Keiichi Tang, we had Retna, and Brad Venable actually worked on the show as well before he passed. And he was fantastic to work with. He was a great coach for all our like up and comers. And the talent out there that we found was real. Like all 8 of them, I'm like, you can compete professionally already, kind of thing. They just had, some of them already were. Some of them lived out of state and didn't quite have the resources. Some of them were still building and stuff. But yeah, like all 8 of them were just fantastic talents, and they really need the attention. So if you want to watch the series, look up Voice Wars. As well as the fact that I do a panel version of it at conventions. So if you would ever like to bring a voiceover competition to your local convention, all you would need is to get them to bring me and at least 4 other actors that I could use as judges, is basically all it is. But I would love to bring it to other conventions in other states and like find the other talent that's out there, because it started as a panel and we were only finding the LA people at the time. And I want to, and the online version helped me find people in other states. Like we got somebody from Alaska. We got somebody from North Dakota. We got somebody from Cleveland, Ohio, actually. And yeah, we've got New York. What was the last one? Vegas. We had somebody from Vegas too. But yeah, it was a great thing to work on. And yeah, if you ever want Voice Wars to come to your town, hit up your local convention. But yeah, that's about all I've got to talk about. But thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and then just for the fans watching this, in the case for letting them don't know, is there any Twitch, any Facebook, Twitter, Instagram so they can contact you at?
Yes. On Twitter, I am at Adin Rudd, ADINRUDD. It is the same thing on Instagram. It is the same thing on Twitch. And on Facebook, it is Adin Rudd Voice Actor. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Adin, for your time for this interview. I appreciate the time getting to talk about all these great projects, and I can't wait to see what else you will be in.
Sure thing. Thanks, Christian.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in for this episode of the Ohio Guys here. Thank you, everybody. I will be see you next time. Bye now.